Good evening, good morning, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Happy Sabbath. First of all, I am very blessed and very thankful and nervous as well. This would be my first time to speak here in Pasay Adventist Church and in English. So I pray that God will guide me as I speak today, and may His name will be glorified and not mine. So in the program it says, His story, my story. I would like to give you a little background of my life, and I hope this would also encourage and inspire each and every one of us. And I would like to tell you how much the Lord worked in my life. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself once again. I am Sister Jeramie Sanico, your sister from Rodriguez Rizal. So my parents were from Mindanao. Who among you are Bisaya here? Oh, there are lots. Yes. So we came from Mindanao, and I am 18 years old and a grade 12 student, and I currently study, but it is not an Adventist school, at Our Lady of Fatima University. So what I am going to tell you is just a little glimpse of what had happened. So if you are familiar, last year, 2016, I was able to join a reality competition that was shown in one of the biggest TV networks in the Philippines. So if you're familiar with that show, I hope you don't mind. And I was assigned to just tell to you a little story of that. And there would be 3 points that I would like to give and to say. So the first one is the role of the family. So again, I was raised in a Christian home, and I was a born Seventh-day Adventist. So while I was still young, while my mom and dad, when my mom was still pregnant to me, she was praying. They were praying to have a children that would be used in the glory of God, for the glory of God rather. And they also met in a choir, in a singing group. So my dad sings bass, while my mom sings alto. So both of them were frustrated soloists because they sing in choir, but they're not really, they can't really sing solo. So what they prayed was that when they would build a family together, they would like their children to be used for His glory. And specifically, they asked for a singer. So what I have learned from that is, it is really important that in the family, you should talk about things, or you plan to build your own family with God. So that was what they did. Unfortunately, I have my older brother, and when he turned 2, he was a little bit out of tune. So they have seen that it was not his gift to sing. So I was born when he was already 2 years old, and I was not I was not in their plan. So they were planning to have a daughter when my brother would turn 4. But I already came when he was 2. So they prayed that if it's possible, God will give them a singer. God will give them someone who would sing for His glory. And it happened. I was 11 months when my dad told me that he discovered the gift that God has given me. And during mom's pregnancy, it is also important that we will not only ask God, but we would also do something. Because it says, right, that prayers without works is dead. So what my mom was doing while she was still pregnant, she used to sing. She was singing, and she was very passionate and determined to teach me how to sing. And then when I was born, it was one day, on one Sabbath, my dad was holding me. And I was 11 months back then when he heard my first humming of the song Showers of Blessings. And they were inspired from that moment that when I turn 1, 2, and even when God will give me more years, then they will train me in His service. So I was 2 years old that time when I learned how to sing, and I was 3 when I first sang in the pulpit inside the church. But you know what? my speaking was not my gift. I only know how to sing, but I don't know how to speak. So, years later, we moved in Manila. Since we came from Mindanao, we moved in Manila, and because we lived in a squatters area that time, year 2005, the squatters area near SM North EDSA and Trinoma Mall. There were squatters, and my grandpa was living that time there in that place, and all of his children, my brothers, my father's siblings were already there. We were the only family left in Mindanao. So when they have learned that I was singing, my grandpa encouraged my dad to go to Manila, and their purpose was to let me join in the singing contests in the TV. So that was their purposes back then. And then my dad was asking my grandpa, what would be my job in Manila? And then my grandpa says, there could be lots of job here. You just come here and we will see what will happen. So in a small house, we lived all together, like with my cousins, with my mom, with my grandparents, and all aunties, and anyone in the family. And then I started join singing contests when I was, I think, 7 years old. You know, there are 3 major networks in the Philippines. I joined any of them, and I will just name some of them. I tried joining Pinoy Dream Academy, Wawawig, The Voice, Talentadong Pinoy, even I think PGT and stuff. But unfortunately, I was not accepted that time. And that is the first role. So what happened to me was I focused in the ministry. I focused in the missionary work. So it was year 2008 when I was invited by the help of, I don't know if you know him, Brother Hartwell Saramosing. They had a group before called Servi Domini, and Servi Domini was invited to sing for the General Conference Session meeting that time in year 2008. And it was held at PICC and Araneta Coliseum. And that time was the first opportunity that was given to me by God so that the brethren could know about me. And from that moment, I started being invited at different churches here in Central Luzon Conference and even in other parts of the Philippines. So that was the ministry that I have made. So many people were asking me, you were already in the ministry, you were already singing inside the churches every Sabbath, then why should you still go to the world and join in that kind of competition? So that's the next role that I'm going to say. That is the role of the church. You know what? Year 2015, when there was an audition caravan of TNT, ABS-CBN, Tawag ng Tanghalan, there was an audition caravan. It was held at Resorts World Manila. And the audition wasn't easy. It was so hard. There were 3 levels that you have to pass through before you could actually be called for the live show. And that time, I didn't know that Tawag ng Tanghalan would be on Showtime, which runs from Monday to Saturday. What I expected that time was that TNT would replace The Voice that was running from Saturday night and Sunday night. So my only purpose that time was to have an experience because as I've told you, I've joined different TV contests but I was not accepted. So I tried my fate in TNT, and maybe I could, because they were calling for amateur singers, so maybe I could just try and join them. And then it happened, my brothers and sisters, that I was called and they congratulated me that I would be one of the contenders. However, on 2016, January, the show started in Showtime, but I was still not called for the live show. And only to know that they were not able to contact me, that's why I wasn't able to go live and to sing live. So many months after, it was 11 months after my first audition, I auditioned again. And that was 2016, August. And from that moment on, the Lord had blessed me and I was accepted and proceeded to VTR. So what I was telling you, I am telling you right now is a little bit confidential because I am actually not allowed to tell this. But for the sake of our brothers and sisters who are actually curious about what's happening inside show business, then I will just have to tell you so that you can also have an idea. So, and all of us would be open-minded as well. And so that time, it was September 2016 when I received a call from ABS-CBN confirming to me that I would be one of the contestants. And they told me that I would go for VTR shooting. VTR shooting is, I think you are familiar with that, the introductory video before you sing during the live. So we have to shoot that. And we had the first shoot, but unfortunately, the video collapsed, and there was a technical problem prior to that. So I have to repeat my VTR shooting, and it fell on Sabbath day. That was the first moment that I was able to tell the management that I am a Seventh-day Adventist, and I would not like to compromise the Lord's Sabbath just for the VTR shooting. And by the Lord's grace, they were able to accept my apologies, and they tried to reconsider me and gave me another schedule for the VTR shoot. The next thing that you have to do after the VTR shooting is the band rehearsal. If you are somehow if you are watching TNT and you are a little bit curious and confused, why are there some other contestants that they are already good but they could still receive a gong, you know, the gong, when Sir Ray Valera when you can hear the gong, it means that you have to stop singing and you are out of the competition. So when you will have to pass 20 songs in Showtime, and in that 20 songs, you don't have any idea what song will they pick from you. It means that they will pick it randomly. That is why, if you put a song which you do not memorize or you do not familiar, and unfortunately they pick that song for you, you don't have a choice but to sing that song. So that is how it works. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you are there, you will just sing the song that you like. You will have to pass 20 songs, and it means that those 20 songs you should memorize and master that 20 songs so that whichever they will pick, it would fit for you. So that's how it works there. And then after the band rehearsal, they will have to call you. It would be tomorrow or the other day. They have the right to call you right after you have passed the band rehearsal. And in my case, you can also ask them if you are not yet ready, or if your voice is not yet ready to sing on live, you can actually tell them. And in my case, I wasn't able to sing on the first and second attempt because I had sore throat that time. I had severe sore throat. And then the next problem that I had was I had my final exam, so I couldn't be absent on school. And then the third time they called me, they said that I would have the live show on October 15, 2016, which was Saturday. So once again, I was a little bit disappointed, and I was still asking God, Lord, is this still your will for me to go forward in this competition? Like, I've waited for this all my life. I've been auditioning a lot of times, and here is my chance. So if you do so, if you please so, may you give me another chance so that they could give me another schedule. And we prayed as a family that time. And right after praying, my brothers and sisters, I received a call, and then they said that they reschedule my schedule, and it fell on Monday. That was October 17. That was why, if you will review it on YouTube, my first episode that I was shown there in TNT was October 17, and it was Monday. My dad was counting, so the procedure of the contest is you have to sing every day. If you become a defending champion for this day, then you have to defend your championship or the golden microphone for 5 days before you enter semifinals. And because I started Monday, my dad was assuming that if I get on Friday, if I pass and survived up until Friday, I would be qualified for the semifinals. And if you are qualified for the semifinals, you still have a choice to make if you would continue as a defending champion or you would stop as a defending champion, but still you are qualified as a semifinalist. uh, can you follow? Yeah, so that's how it worked. And then it happened, my brothers and sisters, that the Lord had blessed me so much. You know what I prayed only that time was, I said, Lord, I don't want to hear the gong. I just wanted to survive my performance because it would be a big shame, not only to me, but also to you, that this servant of God, this missionary woman singing in the church have been eliminated because she has flats and lots of sharps in the competition. So I think it was a shame. So I just asked and prayed that I would not hear the gong. I did not pray to win. I just wanted to experience and to regain another confidence. And then, you know what? The Lord had blessed me, and I won that day. And by His grace, again and again and again, I survived the 5 days, and I was qualified for the semifinals. And during the Thursday, during my 4th day, I was telling my coordinator, Ma'am, can you just pick a song that is not so good because I already want to lose. Because you know, I am not going on the Sabbath day. So please just pick a song that is not so good so that I will not win already. And she was laughing at me and she was telling me, you're so ridiculous. You know, there are lots of people who wanted to be in your place and you only wanted to lose. And so I said, okay, let thy will be done. And that was why when Vong Navarro announced that I was qualified for the semifinals, I don't know what to feel. I don't know if I am happy or I am sad. And he asked me what if I would still continue to be a defending champion or I would stop. And in that time, my brethren, that was the first time in history of TNT that somebody voluntarily quit as a defending champion and gave the chance to others. So that was what happened. And the judges that time, I received a standing ovation for that. And I believe that it was their standing ovation not for me, but for the Lord, because God is so good. And I told them that God had blessed me from the past 5 days, and it's time for me to rest. And you know, I was not allowed to tell about my religion or my beliefs. That was why there were people asking me, why did you not tell in the TV that you're a Seventh-day Adventist and stuff and anything like that? Because I was not allowed. It was the rule to avoid biases, especially during the semifinals when you would please people to vote for you. It is not allowed to speak about your belief so that it could also avoid biases from the other contestants. So that was it. And you know, the challenge continued and continued. The role of the church that time, my brothers and sisters, was because the church during my time in Showtime had become united. And I have received lots of messages in Facebook. My Facebook timeline was flooded with the prayers. And I received many calls from our pastors. They were telling me, Jeramie, it's almost Sabbath, what are you going to do? And then other members would also say, hey, you just continue, sayang naman. So sometimes, even inside the church, you know, it could actually make you confused. Because not all members have the same point of views. So, as an individual, in the church, we have been trained. And we are here voluntarily simply because we love the Lord. That's why we are here in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And I can say personally in my experience that there is no other than more true than the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Amen? And God is so good. After that, last year, 2017, since I was qualified in the semifinals, I waited, and the semifinals would run from Monday up to Saturday. Another struggle came into my life when it was already December and I was called for a production number. It means that my co-semifinalists and I will have to sing all together so that the people could see us again. And it is kind of promotion for them to vote for us during the semifinals weeks. And when you are qualified for the semifinals, you can proceed to grand finals. And you know what's the price of that? You could have 2 million pesos, you could have house and lot, brand new car, recording contract, fame and everything. Those are the worldly offers that I have received during that time. And that was a big struggle for me because I was only 17, and it was like I was telling myself I had a lot of dreams and I am almost there. The Lord had blessed me. But the question is, was that still a plan of God for me? Was that still the will of God for me to continue in that competition? And I have only figured that out, my brothers and sisters, right after a few months. So we had our production number, and again, it fell on Sabbath day. That was the time that again, I have to explain to my coordinator that I could not go, and I could not fight during the Sabbath. And that was also the time that she was somehow blaming me. She was telling me, "Why did you join in the first place? You know that if you can't go, then why did you join here? Why are you making it so hard for us to adjust for you?" Something like that. And then she was telling me, "You were just a contestant. Why would we adjust it for you?" And so I was crying. And from that moment, I told her, "Ma'am, if it's your will, then just eliminate me in the competition. I don't want to join anymore because I just really could not compromise my faith in God." And I was crying. But I was thinking that my journey had stopped there. But January last year, I received a call again. And they said, "Jeramie, the production number had been rescheduled." And it fell on Monday. And my heart was so joyful. And I said, "Lord, thank you. I think this is your plan." And you know what they told me? "Jeramie, we know that you're a Seventh-day Adventist. We know how faithful you are to your church. And you know why the production number had became Monday? It's because of you. Because we have adjusted for you. Because we respect your faith. We respect your religion." And can we say amen for that? But I thought that was already the plan of God. Sometimes we are getting those opportunities and somehow like a chance already that God is working on that. But it was actually a real struggle because they told me, "Jeramie, we would adjust every production number. We would not schedule it on Sabbath day. But please, just join one Sabbath during the semifinals. Do not be absent on the semifinals. You have to be there." And I was, "Lord, what will I do? Just one Sabbath. Just one Sabbath." And they were telling me, can you call a pastor from your church and we will ask permission from him for him to allow you? And they were telling me, "We would pray for you. We would offer intercessory prayer for you if that is how your Lord will forgive you just because you did not attend one Sabbath in your church." That was how they were telling me, and they do not know what struggle I was facing that time. And you know what? We were praying. And in the family, we were saying, "Hey, let's just join. I will just sing." Because during the Sabbath, you have to sing Awit ng Buhay Ko. It means that you can choose the song that speaks up to your life. And we were talking in the family, maybe I could just sing religious song so that they would just... maybe I could just sing religious songs so that I would have no other issue. And you know what? Being a semi-finalist isn't really easy because you have to follow the rules because you are just a contestant to that. So you cannot demand to them, right? So I said, "Lord, what am I going to do?" And so our family decided, okay, I will join. I will join. And I will sing religious song. And after that, 3 nights after, we didn't even tell anyone about that, but we cannot sleep. I was crying every day. "Ma, are you sure?" They were asking me because I was a little bit sure already. You know, when we detach ourselves from God, and I was already tempted on the worldly pleasures because I was also thinking, because the management was telling me, you know, if you have more money, you can widen your ministry, you can help in the church. You can give it to your church building. And they have a point. They were a little right, but, you know, it's just a little bit of a wrong way, I guess. So that time, after we prayed, we really cannot, we really cannot make it. And that was how the role of the church goes in. Because we went to the Central Luzon Conference, and I really meant it. We really asked from a pastor. And I asked Pastor Jun Bautista, the Public Affairs and Religious Liberty leader of the CLC, because I was afraid, because they could file a case against me. Because in the waiver, we have signed that if you are in the competition, you could not back out easily. So that was and since I was a minor, I was also afraid that they would file a case, not against me, but on my parents. Then how could I live without them? So I was thinking, Lord, may your will be done. And just today is January 20. Exactly 1 year from at this very moment, that was Friday last year, January 20 as well. Pastor June and I went to the ABS-CBN management and we talked. And at first, the management were giving them and were telling them, you know, Jeramie is an asset of the show. And because I represented Mindanao that time. She is young, she's a versatile singer and blah, 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 blah. You know, she could have a recording contract and other networks could get her because she is so talented and, you know, she just couldn't back out. Pastor, can you just give her at least 1 day, a 1 day consideration to absent in the church? And, you know, we will compensate for that because she has to absent just to join in the competition. And Pastor June was smiling. And I was really afraid. My heart was beating so fast. And he was telling me, God is with us. And I was thinking, how could God be with us if I could not choose Him in the first place? And that time, I let Pastor June explain. So what he did explain was how our church is organized in a voluntary movement. You know, let me ask you a question. Are you here just because somebody forced you to go here? No. Are you here because your mom said, you must go to church or else you will go to hell? No, right? So we are here because of a purpose. We are here because we love God. This is how we show our love to our Creator, to commemorate His wonderful works throughout the past days and how He has blessed us in the past days. And the seventh day is for Him. And Pastor June explained to the management that Seventh-day Adventist is not a group of individuals who will force or who has a doctrine that once saved, always saved. It doesn't work that way, right? And he also told the management that, you know what, Jeramie is a missionary. And if she continues to go in that competition, she will lose her ministry. She will lose her God. She may have the fame, but what could be her story? What could she tell the people? How could she encourage the brethren in faithfulness if she in herself did not become faithful? He was telling them. And then my coordinator started crying. They said, you know, it's really hard for us to let go of this young lady. But if only this competition would hinder her from doing and spreading the gospel of your church, then we have no choice but to eliminate her and let her choose the path that she wants to take with your God. And you know what? I was praising God that time because at that very moment, I have understood my real purpose. I thought my purpose in doing in that time, in being in that competition, was to already fulfill my earthly dreams. But rather, the Lord had only used me in that as a medium to them so that they could also know about God. Because, you know, when they first started talking, they did not know about Seventh-day Adventists. Yes, they know about Seventh-day Adventists, but they told us, you know, there are also some Seventh-day Adventists here, but they are not like that. They did not call their pastor to explain to us how Seventh-day Adventist works. They go here during Sabbath. So it was hard for them to believe us because they were saying that there were Seventh-day Adventists who were also compromising and working there in the ABS-CBN. And that was why Pastor John said, you know, it is our own personal choices. This is the choice of this young girl. And we are proud for that. As a church, we are behind her. And we will not, you know, we reconciled each other. And I was so glad that they had not filed a case against me. And God also touched their hearts to understand how we work as a Seventh-day Adventist and how we worship God and how important Sabbath is, not only for us, but especially for our Creator and for our Lord. And lastly, my brothers and sisters, the role of God. So that was one of the hardest decisions in my life. January 27, 2017, I was last shown on television. My co-semifinalists didn't have any idea that I would be eliminated that day. And we were all wearing black. And it seems like I was mourning in my heart. I was crying because they do not know that I would say goodbye. And when when we had our last production together, Vice Ganda announced that there is one who will not continue her journey as a semifinalist. And it's Jeramie Sanico from Mindanao. And everyone in the studio were all quiet, waiting for my explanation. And you know what I've said? I have told them in Tagalog, but I said, I do have my priorities. Because again, I was not allowed to tell about my beliefs. And I told them that I do have my priorities, even before this show had started. And that is why I just could not compromise that. And I'm thanking the Lord that He gave me a big chance to be here, to be in the spotlight, even just for the meantime. Somehow I already fulfilled my dreams. And that was why I told them, I gave a little hint, even though they said it's not allowed to say or to tell about God. So I said that God is the reason why I'm here, and He is also the reason why I will leave. So, you know what, my brothers and sisters, in the song it says, I'd rather have Jesus than anything in this world today. You know, I may have lost one of the biggest opportunities. People are asking me, do you still have projects with ABS? I said, no, I don't have. Because I have lost all the opportunities of the world when I have chose to follow God. But you know what? I have gained my God, and I believe that we have gained souls for eternity, and that's the most important thing for our Lord. So, as I would just like to encourage each and everyone to continue being faithful, stand firm in His Word, and let His light shine on us. Again, my brothers and sisters, happy Sabbath.